think it's now time to move on to our next exciting session. And we are going to be joined from Replacements and Attentive to talk about a traditional and how they're serving a traditional and digital marketing approach to serve an actually very broad demographic. So if you haven't encountered Replacements, you should. I'm actually a customer, so I'm happy to be an advocate as well as an introducer here. They had 40 years of being a go-to service when it comes to replacing pieces of precious china or adding to a collection that you perhaps already have. And during this session, we're going to talk about some really interesting things, because usually when many of us think about new customers and engaging with them across channels, I think we do tend to end up leaning into thinking about a younger demographic. I think that's quite natural. But due to the nature of their products, Replacements customers do tend to represent perhaps a slightly older demographic. But what's fascinating to me about this story is as they've started to work and think about their customer engagement strategy to appeal to younger demographics, they found success actually in appealing to older demographics. So there were things that you could learn from appealing to one that actually worked with another that perhaps were not as obvious on the get-go. So to go into that in lots more detail, I would love to introduce Amy Childress, who's the e-commerce marketing manager at Replacements. She's joining us from North Carolina. She's been with Replacements for 29 years, so she has an amazing pedigree and depth of knowledge about the company, the products, and the vision, and how they go to market. Amy's responsible for evolving the customer experience at Replacements over time to continue to foster really deep and more meaningful engagement with her customers. And Amy is going to be partnered by Kara Lewis, who's the lead client strategy manager at Attentive. She's joining us from Ohio, but I am to warn you all that you might see boxes in the background because apparently she's in the process of moving. So if there's a story there, I have teed it up for her when she comes on camera. Kara is a fabulously enthusiastic client strategy manager with well over 8 years experience guiding very diverse brands to help them create creative consumer experiences through technology. So it's my very great pleasure to hand over to Amy and Kara.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for that wonderful introduction. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I am so thrilled to be here today. As Sarah mentioned, I'm Kara, lead CSM at Attentive. And as Sarah mentioned, please pardon my boxes in the background. I am indeed preparing for a multi-state move. So hopefully that won't be too much of a distraction from today's exciting conversation. And I'm so honored to be joined today by one of my favorite clients, Replacements. Now, I've worked with Amy from the Replacements team for a few years, so I'm pumped for the opportunity to talk through their experience with SMS with Attentive. Now, if you're not familiar with Attentive, Attentive allows brands to drive revenue and loyalty with SMS marketing and reach shoppers where they typically are, their phones, of course. Now, over 8,000 leading brands like Crocs, Skechers, Charlotte Tilbury, Claire's, and of course, Replacements rely on Attentive to deliver engaging commerce experiences. As mentioned, I'm Kara. I'm a CSM at Attentive. Now let's get to the good stuff. Amy, I'm so excited to chat with you today. Would you mind giving the audience some background on yourself and Replacements?
Happy to chat with you today, Kara. So as Sarah mentioned, I have been with Replacements for nearly 29 years. And yes, I know who stays at one company for that long anymore, but it's such a cool business. So my role at Replacements, I'm the e-commerce marketing manager, which encompasses everything from email and SMS strategy to the user experience on the website. And I know y'all, the marketers all know that with the Norm, we wear many hats when we're dealing with like legal and creative and all that good stuff. But so about Replacements, it started in 1981 by our founder, Bob Page. He was an auditor for the state of North Carolina, and he hated his job. But on weekends, he enjoyed antiquing and searching for china, crystal, and sterling patterns. And so much so that his friends and family constantly asked him while he was treasure hunting to look for pieces in their dinnerware that were broken or missing. And he even, to keep track of their request, he'd handwrite them on index cards and keep them with him while he was out and about. So what started as a dinnerware matching service for Replacements has morphed into what our e-commerce site is today. So if you or anyone is looking for a missing or broken piece, chances are we've got it. And since we're talking about the evolution of traditional marketing, I wanted to share that I have seen our marketing strategy evolve from a monthly little classified ad in the back of Southern Living to today's multi-channel digital marketing strategy.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Amy. I love stories like this. It really is a brand rooted in tradition. To see a brand like this grow from just, a little weekend hobby to something of this caliber is really exciting for me. And of course, who doesn't love to go to a relative's house and find a missing piece of china or like a really cool dinnerware set there. So let's dive in, Amy. You've been an Attentive client for 3 years now. Thinking back to 2021, when you first got started with SMS, what challenges did you hope text messaging could help your brand overcome? And what goals were you focused on when you first launched SMS?
Sure. So when we, we're a very niche market or business, and it's reflected in our demographics. So if you look at the chart, you'll notice that 10% of our customers are under the age of 49 and 62 are above the age of 65. And having this age demographic of 65 plus, we know that older generations have trust issues with change and technology. And with the evolution of privacy laws and such, we noticed that our email opt-out rates were increasing month over month. And when given the chance to unsubscribe from communications, our customers typically would go what we call the nuclear route, which is, getting out of all communications. So we lost ways to communicate via mail and print. Mm-hmm. So when launching with Attentive, we felt that it was a way to explore a new type of communication strategy with this demographic. It provided us a way to understand if our customers would even be receptive to this channel of communication. We were also hoping that this launch would not only gain their trust with SMS, but also maybe regain their trust and have them opt back into email.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Amy, we do notice often that privacy is a big concern for a lot of our clients. So I'm always quick to mention our privacy and compliance capabilities at Attentive. We have a team of lawyers that are ensuring that we're adhering to several of the legal requirements such as TCPA, ADA, GDPR, and more. Now, I know when you first got started with SMS, we were brainstorming a ton of ways to really hit home with your unique demographic, since it is your typical age group. So how did you work with the Attentive team to really help you target that demographic and either gain or regain their trust?
So our main goal was to acquire new customers, of course, but it was also to regain our lapsed buyers or our opted out of email customers. And after that first month, we had 14,000 opted in subscribers. And by the end of that first year, we were up to 60,000 opted in subscribers. And as of today, we're just a little shy of 95,000. But after onboarding, you, Kara, and the rest of the Attentive team, you really helped us to go beyond that typical industry standard for SMS but truly partnered with us to help map out a strategy for our sign-up unit offers, ideas for marketing campaigns and, their cadence. You encourage A/B testing, and you met with our team on a regular basis with check-ins to answer any questions we had and offer up new ideas for us to try.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Amy. And, a lot of our A/B testing involved the sign-up units. Of course, that's that very first experience that a potential prospect or existing customer or future repeat customer has with your brand. So, and with testing these A/B testing units, everything from 10% off $150 to stay in the know, $15 off $150, $5 off $100. We really tested a lot to find the sweet spot of healthy list growth without cutting into profit margin. And we learned that an offer certainly outperformed no offer, but there was really a sweet spot to find, which was key for understanding this demographic. And then, of course, as for campaigns, we did a lot of A/B testing with SMS versus MMS, which, of course, if you're not familiar, is a plain text message versus one with an image. And of course, as Replacements features many visually pleasing promotions, there was ample opportunity to highlight specific products. So this is something we like to do with a lot of brands to see if showcasing some of their products increases the chance of conversion. And then additionally, testing out copy and offers and campaigns was an easy way to see what resonated with this unique audience. How did your demographic influence the way you thought about SMS?
I'm not going to lie, and Kara can attest to this, but we were a little doubtful that our demographic would embrace SMS, honestly. From that initial pop-up on the website to an email banner landing page, we did not think our demographic would want to sign in, sign up in general, nor go through the full opt-in process because it's, reply Y, and then you get your second text, to get the promo code. But, we do get a lot of feedback that our website has too many pop-ups. And so we were worried that with any sign-in message upon entry to the site would cause a little bit of friction. And, as expected in the initial launch, there was some communication and confusion with these folks prompting calls to our call center. But we had prepped our customer care team on how to handle questions. And I will have to say that our customers proved us wrong and have adapted well to this new channel.
Yes. And if there's one thing that I do love about your customer base, Amy, is they are very transparent with their feelings, and they will reach out and let us know how to improve the experience, which is much appreciated. So it allows us to really be nimble and quickly make adjustments, to accommodate our audience, right? Now, what campaign do you think resonated the best with your audience? How did you find a balance between SMS and your other channels?
So I know this is technically called a journey, but we try to get to know our customer right off the bat with our welcome conversation or conversational journey. And because of the breadth of our inventory, we love to learn, what category our customers truly want to hear about. So that we can create a customer and category-based segment, such as china, crystal, silver, estate jewelry, and then we send them specific content geared towards their interest, especially when we have new arrivals, promotions on specific products, and so on. For our product campaigns, I would say our Black Friday and Cyber Monday strategy is well received. We, of course, have the big, splash during, that weekend. But for the past couple of years, we have mapped out a plan the week prior to Thanksgiving. For example, our customers who have made the most purchase were sent a special just for you thank you for being a loyal customer and have a promo code. Other segments may have received, gift with purchase opportunities, and others may have received a one-day only flash sale. You kind of get the idea.
Absolutely. And again, this is probably a common thread through all the sessions we'll see today. But again, really identifying those customer segments and then tailoring the text messages accordingly really makes a difference in conversion rates and engagement rates. So it's really key here that the replacements team is able to communicate to the audiences and per their unique customer segments. Now, was there anything that surprised you when you started with SMS?
It may be our demographic, but our customers were really happy to reply back to our SMS text. They would send kudos and comments and ask lots of random questions. And because we already have a customer team already in place, we developed our own kind of concierge group to answer our daily conversations in the dashboard. And it's actually worked out kind of well. And it's from the perspective of an added layer of personalization, and they could offer recommendations on product. And, we realize AI generated responses could be more streamlined in our process. But at the moment, we're okay providing that extra service to give our customers the confidence to make that next purchase.
Absolutely. And this is a really great example of how it pays off to reimagine the classic customer services through new channels. Of course, our longtime customers who have stuck around since inception should still be catered to in familiar ways, even as we evolve our methods of communication. And of course, my favorite thing about SMS and text messaging is you're going to get that notification right there in your general messaging app where your family texts you, where your friends text you. So it's obviously very easy for your customer base to, quickly reply to that SMS that they receive from you all. And then, of course, the customer care team is right there able to respond. So you can't get any better service than that. Now, what are suggestions for brands out there with a niche demographic like replacements?
So I would say the first thing is to understand your customers' interactions with SMS. And so to really start A/B testing early. And that's anything from, testing your content, it'll help evolve your strategy. As we mentioned, test SMS versus MMS. And then of course, send times and days. We think that yes, it's 100% open rate, quote unquote, but some people may not interact at 10:30 in the morning and 7 p.m. is better. So to really kind of understand where your customers are. And then, test those segments and sign up offers. Another thing I would recommend is to take advantage of the pre-built journeys in the dashboard. They're great, and let the Attentive platform do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And your CSM with Attentive is your partner. Thanks, Kara. Don't be afraid to ask questions or share your ideas of the things you would like to achieve for your brand. They're a great resource to help further your goals. And if you do have any questions, chances are there's a case study on hand that they can supply, or they'll quickly give it onto an appropriate department to get an answer for you. And then it was really helpful for me to attend the Attentive Beyond the Message webinars. They're a great resource. Listening to other companies' strategies and successes were so helpful in the beginning for us when we were establishing our strategy and content in the beginning.
Absolutely. I love all of those answers. Obviously, the one about working with your CSM is my favorite. But really, our CSM team is here to help you implement your SMS program. And I make it personally my goal to really become, as you mentioned, an extension of your marketing team. I want to know your brand and your customers as well, or if not better, than you do. So all of our CSMs here at Attentive strive to do that. And we have a team of over 100 CSMs that work very closely with their brands to make sure they're getting the most out of their SMS program. Now, Amy, you mentioned Beyond the Message. I think that's a great call out for those in the audience that aren't familiar with Beyond the Message. It's a quarterly webinar that we host to give our customers an update on new products, but we also highlight several customers that are doing some really creative things in the market. And it's definitely a good opportunity to get some inspo and hear what's working or not working. And if you're interested in attending the next one, we'll definitely share the link after so you can sign up. Now, Amy, I got one more question for you. What are you looking forward to most with Attentive?
So we are currently utilizing the suggested message AI tool. And so when creating our content for our campaigns, when we are coming up what we think is kind of like a clever idea, we'll enter it into the message open field, and we take a look at the suggested AI message, and it helps us play around with our copy and the message tone, a sense of urgency, and that type of thing to improve our message. And, when we think we have an awesome clever message, we run an A/B test against the suggested, just see whose idea is better. And we've just been added to a test group, and we're very excited to demo Attentive's new AI opportunities. So we're testing the AI Pro, which is featuring AI audiences, and Send Time AI. And we're also testing AI journeys.
Absolutely. Yes, of course. It almost be a little bit strange if we didn't talk about AI at this point. And I love that you're as excited about AI as we are. I think it's with such a niche market like yours, AI really opens the door for so much opportunity. With the ability to create one-to-one personalized text, it's going to be so interesting to see the text that truly resonate the best with your audience. And then as well as some of the other AI features, Amy, like you mentioned, send time optimization. With such a unique demo, the classic 11 a.m. text that works best for other brands might not work the best for your audience, right? So send time optimization would be sending the text at the time the learning model really knows will convert the best with each individual subscriber. Now that's all we have for our session portion this morning. Amy, thank you so much for being a part of the session. Now we'll be taking some questions from the audience.
We will. Thank you both very, very much. I think that was a really interesting and inspiring session. I think we all learned a lot. And I know for me, it's fascinating to hear about how SMS, which is a channel we do tend to associate with a younger demographic, being so incredibly effective here. Amy, I had a couple questions that popped in for you, if you wouldn't mind. For marketers who are just kind of thinking about expanding into SMS, what kind of advice would you give them about tracking success? What metrics should they be looking at, do you think, from your experience?
Well, definitely understanding the tracking. We were looking for engagement. We were looking at, like I mentioned, there's the pre-built journey. So going beyond that general marketing campaign, it's set up your post-purchase journey, your browse and your cart abandons, everything from a win back is really encompassing the whole picture that's offered with Attentive. And that really helps you understand and track. And also tracking with, again, A/B testing is tracking where your messages are really hitting the spot, really understanding the time of day, and a conversation journey helps as well, in that, you're zeroing in on that segment and seeing where those successes are.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think that's really, really great advice. One final question, if I could. And it's come knowing that you are both an Emarsys customer and an Attentive customer, which gives you a very rich digital marketing strategy and a reach of channels. What's next for you in your strategy? What are you looking to do?
Well, we have much success with both platforms, actually. We've integrated the two, so we have the ability to understand our customers, trying to build that strategy in that, if a customer is not engaging with their email, we have the ability to send them a text and really kind of understand and build those segments where we know that maybe someone is sunsetting into a different form of communication, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. It's about understanding where your customer wants to engage with you and making sure you're there, not in the wrong channel at the wrong time with potentially the wrong message.
Right. And we have, again, our age demographic, they have really surprised us in that, email, not so much anymore. They want to have that instant notification that there's a sale or there's new product arrival. So it's definitely been interesting seeing how they've engaged in the channel.
I think that's really, really fascinating. And it just makes the point that it is omnichannel is for all demographics. The trick is to find which parts of the omnichannel are going to work best for you, but not to assume that older channels that perhaps we're more familiar with are the only ones that are going to take you into a given space.
And I think COVID actually was a game changer for us because with this demographic, they were FaceTiming with grandchildren. They were really learning, what their capabilities with their technology was. And so we saw a definite increase in mobile. We kind of switched over from desktop to mobile device usage. And so that's kind of how we knew that our customers were a little bit more in tune with their technology.
Which is fantastic. It's a way making sure you actually understanding your customer and that they're giving you those signals, and it's just up to you now to actually react to them.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. I think we're up on time, and I very much appreciate your investment of time, Amy, Kara. Thank you. I think there's a lot for people to think about in terms of how they can evolve their marketing strategy. I'm sure both Amy and Kara would be happy to take any additional questions. There are QR codes on the screen, which will help you to connect with them on LinkedIn, and I'm sure they would be delighted to engage. And my thanks once again to them for their time and engagement and the fantastic information that you shared. Thank you very much, Amy, Kara.